She said, no. I said, it feels like a war.
Oh, God. And welcome back to this week's episode of the Talents Podcast. Sometimes you have to question what John is saying, since it doesn't always make sense. With that one, I think the less we ask, the better. Anyway, this week I'm joined.
Most of them are just the punchlines to very old school dirty jokes.
Yes, as you can hear, we are joined by John Cook once again. Of course, we're joined by Owen this week for another Doctor Who podcast review. This week we're reviewing Orphan 55, but before we get there, I mean, the Whoniverse has literally opened up, so we've got a lot to... Orphan 55?
I thought you said Eiffel 45.
No, I did
not. Why do you think I've got this background? It's like, well, I'm blue, la da dee la dee da 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 dee da 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 la da dee da dee. You know?
I asked you the
I've been listening to that fucking song all week.
Oh, well done. Well done. Well done. I love that. I love that. I asked him and he said, "Don't promote to the recording." And that is a punchline I'm very happy with. So there you go. I'm happy with that one, John. Well played, mate. Well played. Big fan. Owen doesn't know what that song is. He's very confused.
Owen must know.
Of course, I know what fucking song that is. It's like, well, I say my era, the era I was born into.
Not come out in 1910. Thank you very much. Anyway,
98, 99, I think. Before Little Kingdom was born.
But yeah, there wasn't even a thought in this world.
Oh,
yes, it was a much clearer time.
That's quite a soothing image.
What, my lack of existence?
Yeah.
Soothes you. Oh, great.
Before Kingdom, it was a simpler time.
I had hair then, like in a fashion, you know?
Yeah. Sure. I don't know. I wasn't around, so I mean, I don't doubt it. But obviously, guys, since we were 2 weeks ago, the Whoniverse has literally opened up. We've got idents, we've got dates, we've got artwork, we've got this, we've got that. Where do we want to begin? Let's start with iPlayer. It's here, it launched, it works, everything's on there. The new stuff that came out literally was on it within 10 minutes. Great.
Everything?
Apart from the Tribe of Gum, but we can't talk about that. I mean,
well, the entirety of the Unearthly Child.
The Tribe of
the Tribe of Gum is not on my player. Also, for you, an Adventure in Space and Time fans, as announced, say that it will be soon on the platform as well. So then eventually, I think it's all totally Doctor Who's on its way as well. So they're literally getting everything for the archives.
There's a lot of stuff on there. I was having a look through yesterday. A lot of stuff on there. The thing that I would really suggest that people watch that they may not have picked up is the film Delia Derbyshire, the Myths and Legendary Tapes, which has been added. It's an absolutely fantastic biography of Delia Derbyshire, well worth a watch. I saw it about 2 or 3 years ago on BFI Player, I think. But I think I'm probably going to give it another watch. Whoever's messaging me can fuck off. Yes, they can.
Indeed.
It's Connor Allen.
Oh, he can get in the bin.
He sent me a review, by the way, so I'll be reading out his review.
Yeah, because he messaged me and he was like, "Can I send in a voice clip?" And I was like, "Just write it in the tweets. You don't get special treatment. You ain't John Cook."
Well, I mean? The problem was that it wasn't in words; it was more a noise. But I got him to spell the noise.
Okay.
So I can now spell the noise and turn it into like his review, you know.
Right. Yeah. Well, Connor, just in case you are listening, no special treatment for you, sir. Good day, in the words of
you got to be one of the timeless podcast elite in order to. You've got
to at least
qualify for that.
You've got to at least make, like 9 appearances, and I think you've only made like 3, and even then you left halfway through one, so it's like 2.5.
I mean, and he was pissed up every time, so those appearances probably count for half.
He was pissed up every time, and then we went to review Black Panther, and he goes, "Alex, I don't know if I want to do this because I don't like the film."
But he will be joining us relatively soon. He may well be with us for the 60th specials.
Yes, indeed, and he certainly is a special himself. Anyway, let's continue on with the news.
I
Obviously,
might actually use this. I mean, without spoiling which special I'm going to be on, I might actually keep this background for that.
You will. That might be a little hint for those that are watching on the YouTubes. If you're not, then well, think about John's earlier joke, and then
Yeah, I mean, if
potentially
they're
you can
not,
work
they'd have
it out.
heard me singing. If they're not, they'd have heard me singing the fucking song.
Yeah, yeah. But yes, obviously it was announced that it's going to be the 25th. This is it 25th, 2nd and 9th. Is that how it works?
Well done. Yes, the 25th of November, 2nd of December, and 9th of December.
Yes, Kingdom knows his dates.
And hilariously, the people that have been pissing and moaning for months going, we want to know the dates, we want to know the dates, about 80% of them went, oh no, we didn't want those dates, we wanted other dates.
Yeah, it's a bit weird with dates, isn't it? People care too much. Like they're gonna watch it anyway.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a fucking big enough fan, right? If you're a big enough fan, you are gonna watch it. Then, if your circumstances don't allow for that, then you will go out of your way to avoid spoilers until you can watch it. You know, if you care enough, you'll be there to watch it. I get that some people, their shift patterns, etc., don't allow for that. Fine. If your shift patterns don't allow for that and you care enough, you'll avoid spoilers. You know, being without your Twitter for 6 hours ain't gonna kill you.
And if you got enough time to bitch about dates, you probably
Wait,
ain't
were we
busy on
talking
those
West Ham?
days anyway. No, X. You know, X. You said Twitter.
Yeah, I
so
thought you were
I
doing
threw,
that.
I threw up for X. No.
All right, Elon.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Fuck off.
Welcome to.
I didn't realise your chair was a Tesla.
Yeah, don't be firing your wheelchair out into space.
Oh, Jesus, you know, I'm trying to keep it real and we're up woke, and you know, kingdom's big enough. There'll be a short
I think
interlude while Alex is just recovering himself here, people.
yeah, I think we've just lost him.
Yeah, I mean, thankfully, all of the universe is on the iPlayer in a little collection, so you know you can literally just click a little button at the moment on the front page, and it takes you into it, and it's all beautifully split. So you've got your classic series, and then you've got your new series, and then you've got your confidentials all in one place, like your Torchwoods all in one place, your Sarah Jane Adventures are all in one place. I would say your class is all in one place, but there's only 8 fucking episodes of that.
Canine and Company.
But you know, your Canine and Company is on there. Yeah. Tales of the Time. Tales of the Time. Oh.
We're getting on to that very soon once we've wrapped up on all the news.
Oh, you're back.
Look, oh, we're back. Yeah. Sorry, Elon just gave me some money for throwing up the X. So just got that sorted. But obviously, as well, was announced that basically, this caused a bunch of shit for basically no reason. That this new series is going to be known as season 1. Ooh, it's a change. And now I think a lot of people saw this coming, and it's basically to do with the distribution deal going overseas, so that when it goes on Disney Plus, it doesn't show up as Series 14 on its own, and it can just be its own season 1. Get started. Does this bother you, lads? Because it really doesn't bother me.
It'll always be season 40 to me.
Yeah.
Well,
it doesn't. Literally,
I mean, to be honest, this is the first I've actually heard of it.
Literally nobody is gonna get confused between Shooty's first series and Eccleston's series and William Hartnell's first series. No. It's just, that it's going to cause zero confusion. The only people that are kicking off about it are people that have got a little bit of an extra grind anyway, because they're not very happy about the direction with Disney or of what sort of RTD's doing, or that their favourite era of the show's over, or, for whatever reason. It's another one of these things where, and it happens 9 times out of 10 with Doctor Who, and it's always been the case. When you see a storm in a teacup, it's normally people that are just looking for something to piss and moan about.
Yeah. No, I'm not the biggest.
Need to get out more.
I'm not the biggest fan of it. I'm not the biggest fan of it internally. In my head, it will always be Series 14. But at the end of the day, it's like one of those things where it just kind of it's one of those things where I'll always refer to it as that.
You're not the biggest fan of it internally, Alex.
No, it doesn't make me feel good. It doesn't make me feel good on the inside. Yeah. Yeah. Not there. You know, more the stomach region. But it's besides the point. Did not make it sound any better, did it? It made it sound exactly as grim. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's just where basically people's opinion doesn't matter because it's a business decision and it works better for the business.
Yeah.
It works better for the overseas and doesn't change anything.
Is it going to make it more accessible for people overseas? Yes. I mean, at the same time, the older stuff's not going to be on Disney Plus anyway.
Yep.
So it's not like anybody's going to go onto their C Series 14 and go, oh shit, there's other stuff I need to watch because they physically can't do it on that platform.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
But I do wonder if this is going to be like an official thing because let's not forget that every new era that's come along, like when the Smith era started, internally the production team were referring to Series 5 as Series 1 because it was their first series.
Yeah, and Jodie always called it her Series 1, and Chris said it was Series 1. And,
you look at the US, you look at stuff like the US collection boxes, like season 9 is like is badged as John Pertwee's third season. So it's
yeah,
it's a nothingness.
It's a nothingness.
In a world where there is it's very Doctor Who fan that in a world yesterday where there was so much to enjoy, so much to love, so much to be excited about. People were pissing and moaning about that.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's kind of gutting, and I think it also kind of shows how annoying social media could be. And obviously, there was a lot of celebration yesterday. It was a really nice day for Doctor Who fans. But like, can't we just be happy for one day, people? Surely you've got a new little documentary thingy. You've got a visual concert to watch. Can't you just be happy? You've got a new magazine to read. Like, come on, everyone, just smile.
Actually, Alex, on the subject of that documentary, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, you can. I'm not seeing it.
How much did David Tennant pay you to borrow that shirt?
I have seen it, and I was very proud. David Tennant knows where it's at, mate. He knows what fashion is, and I'm very happy. I haven't seen that one though, but I have seen the shirt, and I'm very happy. Last bit of news, another bit of exciting news. Again, saw some negativity for some reason. A co-written episode of Doctor Who will be obviously with the new series. Two amazing writers are pairing up together to create a really interesting story, hopefully, with Kate Herron and Bryony Redman coming on to do the story. Two incredible writers. Obviously, I'm more familiar with Kate's work on the first series of Loki than I am Bryony's, but I mean, new writers coming in who have shown that they can do similar things. It's a win-win, right?
Yeah, absolutely fantastic news. Absolutely.
Did you say people were kicking off about it?
Yeah. Oh, massively.
People are kicking off about it. It's Doctor Who.
Oh, for God's sake.
Yeah. It's two female writers, man. There's going to be people that are kicking off. Like, no disrespect to them at all, but that's just how it works on the internet, unfortunately.
Absolute disrespect to the people that were kicking off.
I meant to the writers, not to the people that were kicking off. But should make that very clear.
But it's fantastic. It's fantastic news. I personally, you heard it here first, unless you follow me on Twitter, in which case you heard it a couple of weeks ago. I personally think that this could be a little bit of showrunner succession planning. It wouldn't surprise me at all if Kate Herron was running the show in 5 years' time.
I wouldn't be against it. Loki was fantastic.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all. But all up for it. All up for new writers coming in, for writers that have got experience of writing modern sort of fantasy serialized shows. Bring it on.
I didn't realize that Kate had anything to do with Sex Education as well, which is a series obviously she was involved in. So they all know each other. That would be really good. That'd be really fun. Bring it on.
This is one of the things that those that have been detracting from this era a little bit have been complaining about how we want new writers. Boy, there you go. You're getting them.
Yeah, you're getting them.
Move on.
They've got a proven track record.
Yeah. Shut up, move on, watch the show, enjoy it.
Exactly. Obviously, you guys all know from last week, we're on this very long. We got new posters. The posters look incredible. Yay for posters. Woo! You can also already pre-order the 60th anniversary specials on a Blu-ray Steelbook, which have more special features than we've probably seen in the last 7 box sets combined, not including the classic collections, obviously.
Lots of featurettes, lots of behind the scenes stuff. Probably a few bits that haven't actually been listed as well. That are going to be on there.
Yeah, exactly.
Currently slated for release on the 11th of December. Don't be surprised if that falls back, because the last thing that the BBC are going to want is people getting hold of the last special before it's broadcast on the 9th.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but yeah, go ahead and pre-order from your usual retailer.
Exactly. Right now, should we get into the fun stuff? So obviously with this Hooniverse announced, it's also announced sort of under the radar that we were going to be getting a new little show called Tales of the TARDIS. I think it was literally a couple of days before, or maybe the day before. I wasn't.
Yeah, it was like Monday night, Tuesday night. Might have been Tuesday night.
Yeah, Tuesday night. So, and we're obviously recording this on Thursday the 2nd. So, literally the day before, it was we're going to be getting Tales of the TARDIS, and it was going to be like a mini series with shorts that would then lead into certain classic episodes of Doctor Who. We got 6 of them, 6 pairings. We won't go into every single one of them. I think we should just do a very brief thoughts. I thought it was a nice little group of shorts. That's my opinion on it. I thought they were nice. Yeah. I thought they were fun. I thought they were emotional at times. I think it's a really nice thing as well for some people to watch classic Who that haven't before. I think some of them are more accessible in that factor than others, for example. But I think overall, everyone going back at it, you can tell they all enjoyed the roles. There's so many Easter eggs to try and spot out if you're into that sort of thing and be like, oh, what's that from? What's that from? And you know, I thought the writing was really strong. I can't talk about the edits for the episodes. I know they were cut down a little bit. I didn't actually watch the episodes in the middle. I just skipped to the beginning and the end of all 6.
The full stories are still elsewhere on the iPlayer. So if you go and watch the full stories, you're still good.
I watched the first one with Earthshock, and it was nice just to have like a movie length version. You know, there's no breakups in between. You're just continuously watching it, and yeah, it was nice. It was different.
I mean, you'd have loved the old early 90s, late 80s VHSs.
Yeah, no, I thought it was really good.
Like the omnibus versions from UK TV Gold.
Oh no! The actual BBC releases used to be omnibuses.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah, they're late 80s up until about 91, 92. They were omnibus versions. So yeah, the first time I watched Death to the Daleks, it was an omnibus version, and I spent for years I just never knew where the fuck the episode 3 cliffhanger was, because it just didn't make sense that it would be there. Yeah, but yeah, Tales of the TARDIS is, I mean, it's great. I've watched them all, enjoyed them all. I think the 3 that I would pick out are the one for the 3 Doctors with Katie Manning and Daniel Anthony, the one for Earthshock with Peter Davison and Janet Fielding, and the one for Fenric with Sylvester McCoy and Sophie Eldred. I think those 3 in particular pack a bit of an emotional punch.
Yes.
You know, because either they resolve something between the characters, or in the case of the 3 Doctors one, it goes into quite an emotional place. You know, I mean, they're all good, and you know, if you're a fan of, say, the first Doctor, the second Doctor, you're gonna have your own favourites. You're gonna love the Peter Purvis and Maureen O'Brien one. You're gonna love the Wendy Padbury, Fraser Hines. You're gonna love the Nicola Bryant, Colin Baker. You know, if you're fans of those eras. But for me, as somebody that's a general fan, I think those are the 3 that stood out for me.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. I also want to give a quick shout out to Colin Baker, just wearing his own little suit. That was quite funny. Bless him. But yeah, no, I thought overall the performances were good. It was really well written. Really, really loved it. Yeah, like I really liked the fact that I won't go into spoilers because I haven't seen them all. But I'll say I like the fact that the Katie and Daniel one, whilst reflecting, also moved the story forward into a place that we might not see, but it still opens the door for us to go, oh, I hope that gets resolved and this and that. Whilst also Katie giving an incredible performance. Not that she's an incredible performer, but considering it is like a little short thing, you know, they didn't have to go to there, and she definitely brought her A game for that. As they all did. They're all fantastic. But like you say, John, it goes to a certain place that you might not have expected for such a short little snippet. But it goes there and it does it well. And yeah.
John, how are you finding the audio description on there?
That's fantastic. It's exactly the kind of standard that you expect. It's done to a professional standard. So I decided to sit and watch the Claws of Axos actually yesterday with audio description because I wanted to start with a Pertwee and I thought I'd go with something a bit kind of visual. It was great fun. And yes, of course, this afternoon I went straight to episode 3 of Creature from the Pit and sought out the audio description of the Doctor trying to communicate with Arato, shall we say, which was suitably funny. I put an audio of that into the chat earlier. But yeah, it's really, really good. I sort of asked people, what they wanted me to talk about in terms of audio description, and people, the two suggestions that came up were Erato and, well, what does it say about the Vervoids? So it says a lot about the general state of frame of mind of my friends and bloody filth. But yeah, it's good, and obviously it's fantastic to have it out there. I have made inquiries with the BBC about whether the audio description and signing, etc., will be included on future collection set releases. That has been passed to the collection set team.
Nice.
And I'm expecting a response on that. So hopefully we'll be able to report back in the next recording.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm just very happy it's there. Obviously, I don't know too many people that rely on audio description, but I'm happy from the one person that I have heard who's used it.
Even if you're a fully sighted person, right? If you want to put Doctor Who on in the background while you're doing stuff around the house, while you're working, while you're doing something else, stick the audio description on, and it's easier for you to follow.
Yeah, it's something I've been doing in the shop.
If you're not staring at the screen, you might be pottering around. Stick the audio description; it's easier to follow.
Yeah, I've been having it on in the shop with the audio description, and it's just nice because it's like those when they did the audio releases for stories, and you'd have link narration by Fraser Hines or Lila Ward,
kind of like that.
And it's basically more or less just the same. So you're like basically that, you're getting a description of what's going on in whichever scene, and I think it's a lot more descriptive than the audios. So yeah, but it is nice just to be working and hearing what's going on at the same time. There was one I was listening to yesterday, Sharda, and the funniest thing was the 6 men sat around this circular console, all jerking in their seats.
Right, all right, Jenkins.
Can't believe you. Can't believe you were playing
every so
that
often. There's things like that I end up hearing, and I just like,
It's always got something. Whenever
the Kenneth Williams gif.
Whenever you go in the shop, there'll always be like an audio playing or something like that, Alex.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I've never known that,
Yeah.
Never noticed that.
It's a Doctor Who shop. It's a Doctor Who shop. You get told off if you're not listening to Doctor Who in there.
Yeah. Today I was also brave and decided to, because I listened to Robots of Death and then followed that up with Talon's Wing Trying.
I think maybe interesting.
It's just that.
Maybe we can move on from that point. That's nearly.
It's just that awful Cockney representation.
I think we should move on from that point. That's nearly as controversial as what you said last time.
Anyway.
So before we move on to the episode itself, are we going to talk about the breaking news that has literally happened just as we are recording this podcast?
Oh yes, there is. Breaking news.
Breaking news on the 23rd. So we're recording this on the evening of the 2nd, the night before this is released to you. We can announce to our listeners, although you're not going to hear this till tomorrow, so you probably already fucking know, on the 23rd of November, the 60th anniversary of Doctor Who, a colorized version of the Daleks will be broadcast for your viewing pleasure. And as it has been announced, we can also confirm that a 1 or 2 time contributor to this podcast, has been working on it. So well done, Mr. Kevin Parrott. No,
Well done.
well done to Mr. Kieran Hyman, who kept that very quiet.
Yeah. It's very good when you see mates.
And none of us had a clue.
None of us knew. None of us knew at all.
None of us had a clue.
No.
Absolutely.
Sneaky
He
bastard.
said nothing, and to be fair, Kieran said absolutely nothing. And none of us had a clue.
No.
None of us had gathered from various visits that he had taken to the UK that he might be working on something like this.
No idea. No.
Not a Scooby.
Not a clue.
Honest, yeah.
Not genuinely. This is as shocking as the day when David Tennant.
Absolute revelation to us.
It's a revelation to us. We have absolutely no idea. Speaking of people having no idea, it's time for John versus Owen. Right now, here is the let's break. This is the tale of the tape. John is 1-0 up in this series. However, if John is to win today, he will win this year's John versus Owen. You have to remember, we only did start it about 6 weeks ago. However, there has been 4 points up for grabs. Only 1 point has been taken so far. So will we make it 2 from 5? Let's find out. And my question to you, it's always about the episode we're reviewing. So this is the first time. But what is the name of the virus that Ryan contracts from the vending machine?
It's something like the Roblox virus. It makes me think of Roblox. It's something like the Roblox virus.
Go on, Owen.
It's the Hopper virus.
It is the Hopper virus. Owen levels the scores. We go to the final, which will be next week. And remember that Twitter transformation is up for grabs. So
I watched that shit today, and I literally counted how many times she said the word fucking Benny, because I thought that was the question that you were going to ask.
I wanted someone to get points, so I thought I'd dial it down a bit. So we actually got points on the board. Oh, mate, look, sometimes you overcomplicate it. But yes, this week we are reviewing Orphan 55. Now, just some information for you on the great story that is Orphan 55, because we have to get that. This was broadcast 2 weeks basically before the debut of the podcast. So it was broadcast on the 12th of January 2020. Ooh, scary. And the synopsis goes as follows. After Graham wins Team TARDIS a free holiday at the high-end alien resort Tranquility Spa, it becomes clear that not everything is as it seems. Why are the staff so worried about the oxygen levels? And why does the planet appear to be habitable to humans? What monsters are stalking the corridors? And what planet are they actually on? With the strange name Orphan 55. Spooky. Oh, this one's interesting. Obviously, we've got a ton of reviews to look forward to. So I think you guys genuinely really brought it this week. So we really appreciate that from you guys. But who wants to go first?
I'll start if you want.
Go for it, mate.
Yeah, go for it.
So I didn't realise until I was rewatching it tonight. I'd forgotten that this is the story that starts out with Graham, Ryan, and Yaz mopping up alien semen from the floor of the TARDIS control room.
Yeah.
It kind of struggles to move up from there, really. I'll start with a good point. I like the dregs. The dregs are a really good monster design. It works really well. It's great to have these monsters that aren't sort of a concept or anything like that. They literally just this kind of very quick rip your flesh off sort of badass bastard. Really like that. It's a lot funnier than I remember being first time around. Yeah. And I mean intentionally funny. There are some bits that are clearly unintentionally fucking funny. Yeah. But it's there's a lot of very good comedy in there, like the stuff when Ryan gets the virus and sort of stuff like that. It's very, very funny.
Yeah.
Sadly, it's very hard to take seriously. And it doesn't seem to know what it wants to do. It's giving you all of these comedy bits and these little really good physical comedy bits. And then it tries to hit you with this really hard message. And it just doesn't work because you're not in a frame of mind to take this episode seriously.
Yeah.
You know, you've got Jay from the In-Betweeners in a green bob wig. And you expect him to start just trapping off about clunge or bullshit or something like that. And it's really hard not to sort of, you've got Vilma and Benny who've turned into a meme, and all you can think about is Benny, Benny, Benny. And it's like, so this what could have been a really good horror episode with a decent message behind it. But it's like somebody's gone, I know what would be really good if we took a zombie movie and merged it with Carry On Abroad.
Yeah, actively, that's not what.
It's unfortunately, you don't get the best bits of either of those things.
No.
It struggles to know what it is, and as a result, we struggle to know how to take it. I mean, people sit there and call this the worst episode of Doctor Who ever. It's not. It's not. One of the things it's got going for it is that it's never fucking dull. The 50 minutes flyby, it's never boring. There's always something going on, but it just doesn't know what it wants to be. And I think that's a real problem for me. And then at the end, you get this political lecture, and it just doesn't work because it's about as subtle as a fucking brick in the face. And people at the time said, "Oh yeah, but the message about climate change can't be subtle. You need to hit people in the face." That's not how you persuade people.
No,
that's not how. That's like a 2-minute lecture at the end of a family TV show isn't how you do it. You look at how they got those messages across in the Pertwee era when you had people like Mac Hulk writing. It works so much better. I mean, 3 episodes later in Praxius, you've got exactly the same message going out there. It works so much better. So I'm sitting there for like 47 minutes, not knowing whether to laugh, be scared, be thrilled, or what. And then I'll get told off for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, yeah, this is all really well and good, and thanks for the lecture, but aren't you the same production team that flew to fucking South Africa to film episodes in Series 11? And I've never flown an entire production team to South Africa for months to go and film, so I can quite confidently say I've done significantly less damage to the planet than you fucking have.
I'm going to go next, actually, because I always find myself, I always go last. I'm going to go in the middle. I am in a similar place to you, John. I'm so happy you said this is not one of the worst Doctor Who episodes ever, because I've always found that ridiculous.
There's 4 or 5 worse in the bloody Chibnall era.
There's 4.
It's not in my bottom 10. Yeah, no. You do yours, and I'm going to look, and I'm actually going to see where I ranked it really recently.
Yeah, this isn't even the worst of the series for me. So, but yeah, for me, I'm with John a lot, really. I think you put the nail on the head. I think it's actively, I don't think I want to say is that I think the comedy on this is, for the most part, well done. And I think, like you said, considering, although it doesn't really work with the deeper topics, in that first half, when it is just trying to be a bit of a funny, what have you, it is very good. I think a lot of the main character, all of the companions, at least do something in this, which is a criticism that was lodged a lot of the time, is that actively a lot of the companions don't really do anything, whereas in this one they're all kind of having their own adventure and doing something within the story. I think the side cast, although some of them are misused, one thing I would say is this is not a misuse of James Buckley, because I don't think James Buckley's that great of an actor. It's just my opinion. I think he would be good in like a comedy episode, but like, I don't. When people are like, "Oh, this is massively missing James Buckley," I'm like, he was good at playing a school kid because he played himself 5 years ago. Like, that's no disrespect to James Buckley either. I'm sure he agrees. Like, but I think his role is kind of what you would expect from him, to be honest.
Yeah, to clarify, I actually did put it in my bottom 10. Sorry.
Did you? Okay.
It wasn't in the bottom 5.
Okay.
It came across. It came above a few, but it is bottom 10.
Yeah, this episode reminded me of how much I
probably wouldn't now, having recently rewatched it now.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't. But
yeah, it reminded me how much I actually really liked Graham as a character. I understand that his arc at this. Yeah, I guarantee. Obviously, at this point, his arc's basically done. So I assume I watched the series as a whole. He probably would fade away a little bit, but within this 45 minutes, I really enjoyed him as a character. I thought Jodie was on form here because a lot of stuff was just be funny and then serious and funny. I think she's really good in it. Ryan has the worst game I've ever seen a bloke use, and I've been at a Doctor Who convention.
To be fair, he is also getting actively cock-blocked in this episode a couple of times.
There's a lot of cock blocking because
so it's like the Doctor cock blocks him at one point. Yaz cocked him at one point. Yaz also cock blocks Benny at one point.
That's what I was talking about.
And I mean, okay, we use the phrase cock blocks. Actually, these are clearly, it's not just one guy with game trying to shut up a woman. These are clearly both examples where a man and a woman are both interested in each other. Vilma and Benny have been together for 56 years. Another fact that I remembered because I thought it might be a fucking question.
No, but yeah, I genuinely, I don't hate this one. I don't think it's the worst of the series. I think Praxius and Can You Hear Me are much worse. I actively... I'm not going to get into that's an entirely different can of worms. As an episode, I enjoyed that one. I understand
a can of worms. It certainly is.
Yeah, it's a can of worms, and I think we should say that for the Tesla podcast because we could be going for ages. But I just think this episode looks really good. I think, like, direction wise, I think Lee Haven Jones, who directed it, did a very good job. I think all of the sets that Gray, even when on the wastelands, this sort of stuff, it's really good. I think there are some reveals in here that don't work at all. I'm not even talking about the fact that Orphan 55 is the Earth, more just the fact that somehow, for kind of no reason to the plot or relevance, the girl that Bella is basically the daughter of the leader of the... like, it comes out of nowhere, adds nothing to their characters really, except they need to end up somewhere at the end, so we'll pair these two together. That's basically all it's for. It doesn't really add anything. She wants to kill her mother because, right, okay, or no, she doesn't even want to kill her mother. She just wants to blow up the spa that her mother built. Sure thing. It's all kind of convoluted. Didn't like that point. I think the acting across the board's okay. There are some silly character decisions in here, like Silas, who is meant to be a very bright young lad, just randomly in the third act walks out into the Hall of Dregs, even though he's meant to be one of the brightest people of that age that we've seen.
He's pissed off with his dad.
Yeah, but he just goes, "All right, I'm leaving." There's a dregs are in the vicinity.
He knows he can fix the problem, and his dad's not listening to him.
Yeah, but why don't you just go across the other side of the room? Why'd you leave the room?
Because he's not thinking logically, he's thinking emotionally.
Yeah, no, I still don't buy it. I think it adds an extra, like, we have to go. Yeah, no, it's only because you build up how smart he is. I don't buy
Children,
it.
children do childish things, but
I
but
don't buy
no,
it.
I think that works actually. I think a child can be intellectually very smart, but still emotionally very immature. I think actually
Yeah.
that, I can't believe that I'm pulling you up on a criticism of Orphan 55 and saying you're wrong. But I think in this particular case, I think that's quite well portrayed in that as bright as he is, he's still a child.
That is fair. That is
And so
fair.
he'll have childish reactions.
I'll allow it.
Good.
I think the dregs design looks really good. I understand some people said it looked goofy, but especially in those first 15 minutes where they're shot in the dark,
Yeah,
it's a really good horror sequence. I think it's
it
incredible.
it's that classic thing of it's that classic Jaws thing of the less you see of it, the
Yeah,
scarier it is.
the
And
scarier it is.
that like the first 20 minutes are really scary. And yeah, when you get into the outside, it's a bit less so
Yeah.
once you've got the reveal. But yeah, it is that classic horror thing of you leave things to the imagination.
Mm-hmm. Um, Another thing that I like, this is a joke, but I think it's very funny, is that obviously they have the oxygen levels, and because Jodie talks so much, hers runs down much faster than anyone else's. That's just really funny. I'm a
To
13th
clarify
Doctor
before Twitter,
fan.
by the way, to clarify before Twitter get a hold of it, I'm not comparing Orphan 55 to Jaws.
Uh, no, 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 don't do that. But Owen, you've been really quiet, so come on, talk to us. What's going on? Orphan 55, we
Uh,
just saw it. We were late recording because of it. Tell us
yeah.
everything.
So for me, I mean, it starts off all right. And they're all going on a little holiday, going on their jollies. Where you think, oh yeah, okay, this is nice, this is fun. There's a bit laughs and banter, and there's Graham. He's laying back on a deck chair. Yeah, all right, I'm just going to lay here, and then when I'm finished here, I'm going to go over there and go lay there. So he's having the time of his life, and then obviously shit goes down. It's like, oh, for God's sake, here we go. But then I think for me, I don't know, it just starts going downhill from there, and there's loads of things that really annoy me.
Okay, like what?
Um, I mean, the
Shoot.
whole thing with Benny, and then that became a whole meme.
Are you
Um,
angry at memes? Are you angry at memes, Owen? Do you not understand what a meme
no,
is?
not
Do you not get
necessarily.
memes?
Not necessarily, but I think also because it was during lockdown as well, and it's like over a Zoom, it's all people were doing it. It's
We
like,
ain't
oh
yeah,
my
but hang on, but we had Benny on
Well,
a pub quiz.
it wasn't during this was 2 months before lockdown. That was the problem. People were still fucking doing it 2 months
oh
later.
yeah, well
But
yeah,
then
true.
it did allow us to have Benny guest star in a quiz we were doing as a guest question.
I
And
mean, myself and Owen were on a quiz team that called itself Benny and the Dregs.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Literally about 3 days after this was broadcast.
indeed,
Yeah.
indeed.
Uh,
Yeah.
so yeah,
But
so yeah,
anything you
there's
do
that.
like there, Owen? Anything you do like?
Well, I'll carry on. Yeah, the other thing, like James Buckley. I mean, as soon as he was announced that he was going to be in it, I mean, I'm not his biggest fan, to be honest. I mean,
Right in
even
between
between
us.
us,
You don't
he's not
like
my favorite. He's not my favorite character in it. That's my honest
do you resonate more
opinion.
with Will?
No, I just find him awkward as fuck.
It's kind of the point though, isn't it?
Um, I mean, to be honest, I prefer his character in Friday Night Dinner, but we won't talk about that. Um, but yeah, I just found his character annoying, and
I resonate with Mr. Gilbert.
and that his character just sort of like just comes across as really useless, because like his son who's just there, he's doing all his work for him basically and telling his dad what to do, which makes his character just really useless, and I find it annoying.
I think that's
Um,
the point. I think that's the point. I think if because it's James Buckley, I think if he was cast as somebody like competent, it just wouldn't work because it's James Buckley. So I
Yeah.
think actually it's a perfect bit of casting because yeah, he's fucking useless.
Can I ask a hypothetical question here, which is, do you think if everyone thought Orphan 55 was a better episode, but James Buckley still had a similar sort of role within the story, do you think anyone would complain? Because I don't at all. I think it's literally
To be
just
honest, I
because...
don't think there'd be that much change.
I'll be
I don't
honest. I
think it'd
think
be any
it'd be better.
different.
I think it'd be better without the silly wig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So on a
Yeah.
side note, though, I mean, did you like him in Rock and Chips?
Do you know, I only ever saw one episode of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Did he play Del Boy?
I thought he was good in that. He played Del Boy, didn't he? Yeah, I thought he was good in that.
Do you know, how long ago was that?
It probably, I mean, it was before John Sullivan passed away, so we're probably looking about 10 years ago.
10, 11 years ago, yeah.
Yeah, it was after the In-Betweeners. So you
Yeah,
think
I
around sort of
barely remember it.
around 2012, 13?
Yeah, I barely remember it, to be honest.
Oh, yeah, I always thought he was really good at it.
So yeah, and then after that,
It was 2010. It was 2010.
Okay.
yeah. Yeah, after that, I don't know. There's like references like that, the thing where they find like the Russian train station sign underground. It's like, okay, well, there's a nod to the mysterious planet there. But yes,
Not for you, Owen? Just
but,
not for you.
I find that, I mean, there's the whole thing that people say that, oh yeah, that the message is sort of like about global warming, but I got a different message from it.
What was that?
Basically, the message I got was it mainly to do with sort of nuclear war and humans going to war with themselves and if the human race keeps fighting each other, then they'll end up wiping each other out, and nuclear radiation is just going to turn you know you know um mutate people into these like dread creatures.
But the reason that the nuclear war happens is because of global warming, because food resource starts to die out. This is what she explains. She goes, food resource starts to die out, so then war starts, and nuclear war starts, and then...
But I think this is part of the problem. Actually, that messaging isn't necessarily very clear.
No, it's not. I thought you were going to say, Owen, that dregs represent Tottenham fans. I thought that's what you said. And I thought that was where you were going to go.
I mean, to be honest, I wouldn't say no.
No. But to be fair, if the dregs can take Benny for all I care. So if Tottenham fans, if you want Benny on your side, you can have him. You can have him. But yeah, the messaging, well, I think we should get into that towards the end of the review because it literally is the end of the episode. But I've got another few points. I think the setup for the story is really clunky. So Graham wins a gift from which he got within the TARDIS itself from using a TARDIS coffee machine, but was somehow gifted from being a loyalty member. That doesn't make any sense. That's a bit clunky. Base. That's the setup. Is he's gone, I've just used the TARDIS coffee machine and now I've won a free. How the hell does that work? He's not gone anywhere. He's just gone within inside the TARDIS. So the
Going back to
the TARDIS coffee machine could be networked into other coffee machines, couldn't it? Now, if we accept that we have a universe where there's like a global Amazon with Kablam men, then we must accept that in that global universe, there's very likely to be a corporation that owns all the coffee machines and has them all installed across the globe, and they all talk to each other.
I suppose you've taught me out of it again, and that's twice that John probably wouldn't have said to me saying that today. But
it's almost as if I've sat and watched this episode and thought about it, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good. Just that. Let's talk about that point because that didn't work for me at all, guys. It's not about you, but even though obviously I knew it was happening because this is my first watch. But I still every time I watch it, I go, it comes out of fucking nowhere with no hints and no real add to the story whatsoever because we haven't got enough time to develop it. So she goes from being like, I don't give a fuck that you're my child to, oh, I'm going to sacrifice myself to her somehow getting out of it and not dying in that situation where she's cornered by dregs. Like, there's a bit of suspension of disbelief there. How the fuck did she get out of there? Like,
I mean, they do establish that she's quite a good shot.
But like 7 dregs, I don't buy. Then that ruins the effectiveness of the dregs. So it doesn't work either way. You know, what do you guys think of that plot point though? Because that to me just did not work at all.
Unless, because obviously she knows sort of like the schematics of like those tunnels and stuff like that. That she knew another way out that she could get away from them.
Maybe, but yeah, I mean, to go back to the whole parenting thing, I just didn't think it worked. Didn't, because I said in my little mini review at the start, I just felt like they had to pair everyone off at the end, and
no, I think, but hang on, I think that if you were gonna use, don't forget that the whole thing with her not having a mother or being estranged from her mother was introduced as like a kind of icebreaker with Ryan, so that she connected with Ryan. So it's not just about her relationship with Kane. It's also so that her and Ryan have got something to bond over, so that he gets cockblocked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're not wrong. I just don't like the relationship. I don't think it works. I don't get the chemistry. So yeah, that entire point of the episode just doesn't work for me. What other notes do I have? I put the dregs look great because they do, and then I put oh, this is harsh for me. I put kid deserved to die. We've already been over that, but as I was watching it, as he walked out, I was like, he's so fucking stupid. Again, this is just to, and then I put how the fuck. And then, oh no, this is another thing. How the fuck does the kid know the plan when he walks out of the room whilst they're discussing the plan? Because
he's smart.
No, but I don't buy that you can just look at the floor and go, I know exactly what you're doing. They've only just put a panel up the floor as he walks over. It's like he's like, now it's time to make some cerulean fall. The fuck do you know what the plan is? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. Don't, like, you call him smart all you want. He doesn't know the plan. He walks over because they realise, oh shit, we got 5 minutes of the episode left, and then knows the plan. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, but hang on, if there's something that you know a lot about, and then you walk up and see it, if you know that thing, you might actually know inside out. So, like, say one of us walked into a room and somebody had a DVD on freeze and it was a Doctor Who DVD, you might look at that screen and immediately go, oh, you're watching Mask of Mandragora.
Yeah, but that's a lot more simple, I assume, than making cerulean fall. Considering
Well, yeah,
it's
but hang on,
impossible.
if you see somebody there with cerulean free and the hopper virus, you know what they're doing.
But how did you see them there with cerulean fall in our forest? He came over and said, let's make some cerulean fall before he even looked at the grate.
Have a kid.
So yeah, for its highs and lows, it's a solid episode. But now we got to get into the political stuff. That speech at the end is god awful, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's awful. It's awful. And I tried to. I've heard business. I think Jodie tries to deliver it the best way possible. But I also sit there and I go, why the fuck are you lecturing these people about making sure they put the bins out and shit when they're not even on fucking Earth? Like, you're lecturing the wrong people. They ain't doing anything right now. Like, it's a bit weird. The edit at the end
could have done without it entirely.
The edit at the end is laughable. When she goes, and then just see a picture of a dreg. Like, it's meant to be like, ooh, spooky, whereas actually it just comes across as a fuck. Do you know what I mean? That don't work. It comes out of it kind of comes out of nowhere. It feels off, and it ends the episode on a sour note.
I'm not a fan. As you both know, I'm a big fan of early 70s Who, which is an era with a lot of political messaging in it, but it's done quite subtly and it's done very well and it's well placed and it's placed in the context of stories. So yeah, this sticks out like a sore thumb for me, which means that Ryan probably quite likes it. But
yeah. Nice.
Well, yeah, they're not a fan. And I remember at the time saying, "Oh, this isn't good," and like people going, "Oh, but Doctor Who's always been political," and I'm like, "Yeah, it's almost like it's about how you get that message across, rather than whether you get that message across."
Exactly, my good sir.
This is a binary thing. It's not a be political or not. it's sure be political, but you can also do this, that, and the other. Fuck off messages.
You can also, you can do it. You can do it well, and this certainly doesn't do that.
Big brother chat now.
You know, but yeah, I think we've said everything that we can possibly say on this one, really. Obviously, it kind of feels weird to do Jodie Whittaker as a retro review now, this era. It feels weird to be putting that in the retro side of things. Although I kind of realised this as we were wrapping up.
It's nice to come back to, because, you know, although I wasn't massively happy with it being this episode, as I said to you on the last one, it'd be nice to do a Jodie one.
Yeah.
We haven't done one, you know, so.
When the episode started and just listening to the theme tune over again, I thought, do you know what? I still think this theme tune's a banger. A lot of people out there don't like it. I don't know why. You know, each to their own. But I still really like it myself.
I do. Yeah. So it's time for scores on the doors.
We're doing reader reviews after that, then, aren't we?
We'll do reader reviews after that. Yeah.
Okay.
Owen, I'll go you first. I don't know where you're going to go this week. I can't determine. Normally I get a good gauge of where people are going. I have no idea for you this week, mate.
For me, it's a 3.
It's a 3?
It's a 3.
Damn, son. It's very rare that you're negative, especially that negative.
Well, it's not my lowest negative score.
No, it ain't. It stayed the exact same as you rated it in our poll as well. So hasn't moved. Jono,
changed in my estimation.
Jono, what about you?
I think I probably preferred it on rewatch. Probably 4. I mean, it's not. You know, it's not. It ain't good.
No, it's not.
That's a fact.
Yeah. So you gave it a 2 in the poll. So it's gone up. It's doubled. I'm going to give it a 4.5. I don't love it. I don't hate it. I think it's worse. I think it's better. I think it's one of those weird ones where it is a bit poor, but I'd still kind of argue it's slightly underrated, ever so slightly. I don't think it belongs in the bottom 10 or bottom 50, or even bottom 20 of Doctor Who. I don't. Absolutely not. But I don't think it's brilliant by any means. But what did you guys think about it? Well, let's have a look, see, shall we? Lots of reviews this week. So, John, there was a very special somebody that did a review this week. So I'm going to do them first, which was Guy Dog Sparky, who said, "I'm a dog. I can't talk. Understand any basic commands, and I'm the most easily pleased being on the planet. And even I know it's shit. So thank you for that, Sparky. We love that from you. Keep those coming in. The best dog on the planet." But no, literally the first proper fan review. We'll go to Josh Coy. You might know as the 52nd Doctor, who put, "That's legitimately the only 13 story I dislike." So even Josh is being a bit negative this week. So as you can see, even the 13 stands aren't massively fun of this one. But who have you guys got ready on waiting?
I've got the Ocean Man, Ocean Thomas.
Hi, you got his name right. You got his name right.
Yes.
Well
and he says, what starts off as an interesting story quickly falls down a rabbit hole of annoying characters, bad dialogue, and some cringy scenes. Good design on the monsters, though. Too bad it was for this garbage.
Garbage. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I know that Osham is very excited to listen to this podcast, and hopefully, unlike the last one, he won't just skip to the end to find out the review and then pretend in the comments that it's a very good podcast.
He did what?
Yeah, so he outed himself because basically the podcast was up for like half an hour, and each time codes it goes, "Oh, amazing moment," and we click on 55. And I was like, "Mate, that's an hour in. You've just skipped to the end to find out what next week's review is." Because he hasn't seen Mark of the Rani. But yeah, no, thanks for that, Osh. John, who have you got on your? You got a few on your tweet. You got a few on your tweet.
I've got a few that I've screenshotted. I'll just go. So we'll start off with my old mate Rob Cook, no relation. At the real Rod Cook. Can't remember anything about it. Shiny shoulders.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm next going to go for I'm going to go for the Big Blue Box podcast. Gary, it's good to see you, Gary. Good to hear from you. I haven't spoken to you in a while. You've a bit of a mess story, really. Conceptually, it's got something there, but the execution fell short, and the performances were just okay. The dregs are okay. Wants a bit more of them. It's not terrible, but forgettable. And that speech at the end is cringe. And he put great podcast, by the way. Thumbs up. So thank you very much, Gary. Much appreciated. You're a good lad, and thank you very much for the feedback.
And if you want your review read out, it's always a good idea to say great podcast, and we will read it out.
Absolutely,
and also say nice things about you, even if you're a cunt.
Gary certainly is not, and make sure to check out the Big Blue Box podcast themselves. Another great Doctor Who podcast. I think they've just released their round table for this month, so literally I think there's a new episode for you guys to check out right now. So make sure you go do so. Right, Owen, I know have you got any others lined up?
Well, that was the only one of mine, so I'll just go on to the Timeless podcast post.
You haven't switched.
Eh?
You haven't switched already. You had time.
This is why it works to all have them going off the same thread.
Well, I mean, I've already got it here. I'm just.
He's already got it up.
I'm just saying I've switched over. Right, so we've got our wonderful mate and trailer maker, that is Gallifrey Forever 97, Reece Marshall.
I thought you were going to call him Trailer Park Trash for a second.
He'll get his name changed in the group chat later. He says, feels like an episode that had a lot of reshoots and script changes. Love the horror sequence with the dregs near the beginning, but the plot and pacing feels flat. Feels flat after that. Speech at the end feels tacked on as the episode fails to get the point across. One last word.
Yeah, fair enough.
With a gif with Ryan and the girl
Bella.
With the words, "What just happened?"
Can't remember Bella's name. Take his point off him.
Right, John, what's your next review?
The Mad Scientist at Cliff Chapman, who I know from previous chats is not a big fan of this era. Like many Chibnalls, in any other era, it would be an absolute nadir. That means the worst. Here, it's fine, and it's objectively awful, but there's so much more worse around it. It escapes being the lowest of the low, but a wretched example of a wretched rubbish era.
Yeah, no.
Maybe I shouldn't have read out the Twitter out on that one. And there's actually a reply to this. So Amy Boer at Amy B45904287 replied to that and said, "Saved by a great meme, though." I completely disagree. The meme made it worse.
I would stick in the middle of the meme. Does nothing for me. Doesn't annoy me. Doesn't not. I suppose that's because
I don't see how you could have taken so much offence at the feed me in The Idiot's Lantern and not be annoyed by Benny, which is said 20 times in this episode.
Because I remember there was an edit which was "I'm bringing Benny back," which I find quite funny. Whereas "Feed Me" has never had a good edit made about it. Anyway, Elijah E-Trading One, this wonderful bastard, has put a waste of an appearance by James Buckley. As you know, we sort of disagree here on the show, Elijah, but that's what's wonderful. Good to hear from you, mate, and thank you for putting your review in. And he'll be on the podcast sooner or later, I should think. So it's very exciting.
We've got at Michael_R1995, Alchemex. I've got that right. I hope so.
I think.
Who says, "It's fine. It's not the worst thing ever. It has B-movie horror charm to it, and the twist of the dregs being human of the future due to the climate change comes straight out of classic Who. So yeah, Orphan 55 is not bad at all. It's not great, but it's fine."
Yeah.
Our dear friend James Courtney, lovely James, Mr. J.A. Courtney. I've always been told if you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything. Okay. And that sounds sweet. Bless him. Lovely.
Well, do you know what? That's a good stance to take, obviously. We appreciate.
I mean, that would lead to a very short fucking podcast.
It would indeed, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, obviously for us, we don't have the luxury of that, but I appreciate getting in touch. That's everyone done for me, though. I don't think I missed anyone.
I've got one more.
Go on. Hit me.
Two more actually. So
Hit
I've
me.
got one from Andrew Lawston.
Ooh.
At A Lawston. It's one of the oddest stories in an odd era. It feels like a scary survivor horror story, which was either edited heavily to fit a family viewing time slot, or otherwise messed about with in production. It feels like it shares a universe with the Light and McCoy stories of season 24. I can't argue with that. I think that's
I completely agree.
And the other one that I had was from our dear friend and sometime contributed to this podcast, Mr. Connor Allen. He wanted to contribute it in a sort of a voice note because it was a noise rather than a word. But I said, well, look, if you can spell the noise, then I can do it for you. So he spelled the noise, and the noise is basically.
I think he's gone for a bit of shit there, which is kind of ironic for Connor Allen if you know him. But anyway,
I mean, it's a fart noise basically. He's gone for a fart noise.
Gone for a fart noise. Connor Allen's gone for a fart. Who's surprised? Not me. Anyway, we got through all 55. Now it's like
one. Normally you do it in the bloody room.
Yeah, no. Let's try and find out what we're going to be doing this week. Now, obviously, we're doing Classic Who. I'm making a few executive decisions this week, so I've taken a couple of doctors off the board. So I've taken the 6th Doctor off and also the 2nd Doctor, basically because in recent history we've done 2 of those, and I think we should be spreading the board out a bit more. The Sensorites is not the episode we're doing. This is the one I just loaded up on. So, yeah. But so obviously the 1st, 3rd, 4th, 7th, 5th and 7th are in play. So Mordred Undead.
Nice.
Mordred Undead.
Nice.
Ooh. Watch this for the first time in LA.
Very nice. I can actually review this with audio description.
Yeah.
There we go. So Mordred Undead in a couple of weeks, guys. And then that'll be it for the reviews this year. So in terms of
we'll still be podcasting, we'll still be doing stuff around the 60th episodes and stuff, but they'll be taking up the slots.
So so next week, just for not next week, in 2 weeks' time, just for Mordred Undead. There won't be a podcast next week, but there will be a vlog because I am off to LCC Winter and I've got a phone that can actually record now. So, my phone's no longer broken. So that'll feel next week.
Are you going to drive past any more homeless people holding your wallet out? Because that happened on the last vlog, didn't it? Unintentionally.
I'm not a cunt. I didn't mean to. It was only pointed out to me after it was already uploaded.
Cheers, dog. My dog just headbutted me in the chin.
For context,
she's a dog of taste.
Yeah, for context, I'd recently got a signature from Matt Smith on my Doctor Who wallet. So I didn't want to put it in my pocket to swatch a signature. But I, unfortunately, wrong timing chose to mention that I need to get a new wallet as I'm driving past a homeless person. And basically someone went, Alex, what have you done? And I went, oh, shit. So, there wasn't anything intentional. Just one of those unfortunate events, really. So I'll try and avoid that.
Alex Kingdom, friend of the people.
I try to be. But yeah.
To the lower classes.
Make sure to follow John at JohnBoy_Cook on X and Blue Sky.
Piss off with your ex.
It's just what it's called now, isn't it?
You've got more fucking exes than Taylor Swift.
I don't think I do.
More exes than Elizabeth Taylor.
You can follow
more. I mean, she's an ex herself. Too soon? No, I didn't.
You can follow Owen, the Dr. Disco 63, and you can follow myself at the Thomas Pod or Alex King_Tom. I'm back in a couple of weeks, ladies and gentlemen. Until then, I leave you with the grand voice of Mr. John Cook. Who knows what he's going to say, but I never do. See you next week, everyone.
You always know bits of what I'm going to say, don't you?
Good night, God bless.
Because we always do the same. We always say, good night, God bless. Don't have nightmares. Do sleep well. I'm blue, da da dee da dee da da dee da da dum, da da dee da dee da dee da da dum, da da dee da dee da dee da da dum, da dee da dee da.